welcome everybody to another episode of Head to Head Sports. I'm your host Brian Parker, along with my co-host Mr. Randall Hargrove. How you doing, sir?
What's going on, B?
And you know, I was going to uh, do the introduction like I normally do, and go straight into my Cowboys troll. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I wanted to. I even got my hat, but it ain't funny no more. It just ain't funny. They suck.
It's just, they just suck, man. Yeah, what do kick a what's the old saying? Kick a man when he's down, or kick a man when he's down.
And trust me, I can kick a Cowboy fan while he's down. I really can. I can really scooch down, bend over, do everything I got to do squats on them, whatever. But I just can't even bring myself to do it. It's just so sad. But we'll get the show going and everything. Thank you everybody for tuning in for another week. We are streaming live and direct on Amazon Fire TV, Roku TV, LinkedIn, Facebook Live, Instagram, as well as YouTube. Help us out. We're on our journey to 10,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel. So just go to YouTube, do a search for Empower TV, and you will find us. Always click on the bell. It will notify you anytime that we post live or we add any content to the show. So you will notice that there's other things other than head-to-head sports on our Empower TV channel, as we also do our main show on Thursdays as well at 7 o'clock on the same streaming services as well. So check out all of that. The main show is normally a lot more politics and things like that. We separate our sports show out on Wednesdays to basically go over what's going on in the NFL. We're here with you all the way through the Super Bowl. So we have actually gotten through the preseason, and now the first, man, I can't believe it already, the first 10 weeks of the NFL season. So I'm going to talk about a lot of the games that happened over the weekend and the games coming up. And hey, let's look at some of these conferences and see who some of the early favorites to win these conferences are. Me and Rand picked some winners at the beginning of the year, and some of them are shaking out that way, and some of them are not. Some of them are actually, we got some surprises, and we've got some quasi disappointments as well. So we'll definitely get into all of that, man. But yeah, Rand, how was your past week?
Past week was good, man. Just settling back in from the Vegas trip or whatnot. That was well. Just coming back here.
Nice.
I didn't let you know I went to Vegas. Yeah, I ain't win nothing. So, matter of fact, lost like $250 this time around. So sometimes that's all. I know when to push away from
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Hey, look, losing $250 in Vegas is like winning. It really is. Because like you said, you knew when to leave, because a lot of people, they 250 down, they gonna go back and try to double up and see if they can win their 250 and then end up being down a G. So I seen that happen.
I seen it happen too. I saw some frustrated people sitting there in front of them slot machines, and they was just, they were there for hours, and they didn't have like happy looks on their faces. So
yeah, because they in disbelief. They like, I can't believe I done dipped into the car money. I can't believe I done dipped into the light bill. Yeah, you did. Don't never bet more than you willing to lose. Don't do it.
Exactly.
Even when I do my little bets on FanDuel and DraftKings and BetMGM and Bet365, all of that, I make sure that I know what my limit is. And yeah, you always want to sit there and win. And it's funny sometimes when I'm sitting there looking at my parlay, man, I've been so close to like breaking it wide open, and it comes down to a quarterback needing to throw for another 10 yards or something like that. And I'm just going, this is absolutely unbelievable. What do? You know? So Bet responsibly, guys. A lot of these things now going on in sports. I thought fantasy was the worst because even though you may have an allegiance to a team, fantasy would make you root for against your own interests. Sometimes
Yeah.
you bet to get your own damn team because you're just trying to win the league and bragging rights and stuff like that. Well, these sports books have taken it to a whole nother level now. So bet responsibly. Don't bet with your heart. If you do love your team, be realistic about your team so that you don't end up being ass out because of your team or because of you and your team. Wild man in the house. What's up, guys? What's up, Robbie Jenkins? How you doing?
What up, Robbie?
Wild man in the house. All right, wild man. Well, this week was very, very interesting in the NFL, and it started off um, last Thursday with the Bengals and the Ravens. Man, this was a game that we didn't really know if it was going to be a shootout, if it was going to be a defensive game. We didn't know if Joe Burrow would have to put up a whole bunch of points, a whole bunch of points to give the Bengals a chance to win. What was really going to come out of it because we've seen Burrow have some really good games and then their defense lets them down. We've seen some other games where Burrow couldn't get out of his own way. And we've been also seeing on the other side the Ravens really playing against some good regular season football, which that's kind of been their MO lately to play a lot of good regular season football and then kind of fade off into the playoffs. Well, this game had it all. You had two quarterbacks damn on fire throwing for over 730 combined yards with Burrow throwing for 428 yards. 264 of them went to one damn man with the Jamar Chase.
Look, and that week, man, I was so pissed off.
Look,
You know what it's like to you know what it's like to already lose your fantasy game on a Thursday.
it's like you can cancel Sunday and Monday.
Yeah.
Bruh, he only had 11 receptions, 264 yards. I mean, my God, bro, that's nuts. He was doing it all. Burrow threw 4 touchdowns, no picks. Lamar threw 4 touchdowns, no picks, had 290 yards, but Burrow threw the ball 56 times. Um, that's a lot of throwing. But that also tells you that they don't do a lot of running. And Chase Brown only had 13 carries for 42 yards. He did get a touchdown, but he only had 42 yards, and he was the leading rusher. Derrick Henry on the other side, normally good for about a buck 20, was limited to 16 carries and 68. They were doing as much as they can to jam Derrick Henry from getting loose and everything else like that. And the benefactor of that was Tylan Wallace, who had that one play where he streaked down the side because he broke 2 tackles and had a long, long run, but he ended up with 115 yards. So Lamar had to get it done in the air because they were basically daring him to win with his arm. And they ended up winning the game 35-34. It was back and forth. The Bengals, again, the defense just could not stop the Ravens when it mattered the most. Burrow, I think, did everything that he could to get this team going. But their defense, as for a lot of the year, ended up letting them down more than anything.
Definitely. But even in the final seconds of that game, the Bengals had a chance there at the end with that failed 2-point conversion. So
Would you now would you have done that? I mean, you're under a minute. If you go ahead and kick the field
I got to
goal,
go back and look at the circumstances.
what was the benefit of saying we're going to go for two, and when in going for the two, you didn't even set up a play for the guy that's then caught 264 yards? You go for the tight end
Yeah.
underneath, I believe. You didn't even go for if you're gonna go for two, if you're gonna say, you know what, because you know how much hubris it is to be away. You already got a losing record. You're fighting to climb back into the playoffs. Wouldn't it just been better to take the points, go into overtime, and if you lose in overtime, you lose in overtime, but give yourself a chance because you only get one crack at that 2 point conversion. And if you don't get it, you know that you turn it over on downs. You know that they can just run the clock out and the game is over. So you got to draw up your best play for that 2 point conversion. And you're telling me that that 2 point conversion play didn't involve Jamar Chase? Huh?
Should have. Should have.
Yeah, that was a little weird. What's going on, Joe Lowry?
I can remember the circle.
Yeah, I mean, it was nobody had any timeouts left. What's good, BB and Rand, Lenny Kravitz, Hargrove.
What's that, man?
Oh, Rand. So, but by the way, y'all, if y'all didn't know, Rand has a couple of bands, and one of his bands is oh Lord, what's the love?
Let Love Rule. It's the
Love
Lenny
Rule.
Kravitz.
Lenny Kravitz tribute band. So somebody had posted a reel. I don't know if it was you or somebody else that posted a reel on Facebook, and I tagged Joe in it, and he was totally amazed because he was like, "Is this the same dude on the podcast?" He says, "Man, that's like his alter ego." I'm like,
So that's so weird. Somebody else said that today too. It was alter ego. Yeah.
guys, if y'all don't know, this man can sit there and totally tear up that guitar, man. If y'all ever want to get him something for Christmas, get him a new guitar because he slays his guitars. And the man can play, and his vocals are on point. So he definitely saw that, and he was just amazed at your abilities. So
Appreciate it, Mr. Lowry. Thank you, man.
Y'all check that out. And then I tagged him on the Kendrick Colts. May have another clip of Kendrick Colt. He said, "Bro, I was shocked. Love it, love it." He was shocked. So yeah, definitely is a man of talent there. I don't know how he has time to do the show because he's got all these damn bands and a full-time job.
Woo, you ain't lying.
You know, that sounds like a bunch of Monster Energy drinks to me.
Yeah, but I love some sports talk, man. So ain't no way I'm gonna miss out on this one.
I know that's right. So, but anyway, so the circumstances were you didn't get that 2 point conversion, you're gonna lose the game by one, which is what ended up happening. So I don't know. I know a lot of people feel like, hey, if we had momentum, if we felt, but there was a timeout and all that stuff. So it wasn't like they had just scored and then they were lining up to go for the two. There was definitely a timeout being called and stuff like that. Uh, oh, he said that in Hargrove. That's how he's everywhere. I know
I
we
am
be
not
wishing.
the one to clone. Yeah.
So now we wish for that, and God knows I do. It just don't ever seem to happen that way. Oh my goodness. Anyways, but getting into some of the other games, and I just lost my. How did I lose? Okay, there we go. I lost.
You know, just before we move on, that's a devastating loss for the Bengals, man. It really is to be in it that far up on the road. They were on the road, wasn't they? I believe
They were playing more.
Yeah, so to be in that game all the way to the very end like that, and to have a chance to go up a game on a division rival, and then to have that happen to them, that big of a letdown, and now you even another game back of my boys and Baltimore. It's going to take a lot of get up for Cincinnati to come in and try to do it all over again this coming week. So
No, you're absolutely right, and they got to play. They got to go to San Diego. I mean, they got to go play the Chargers, and their record is 4-6. Now, can a 6 team get into the playoffs? Normally, but not in the AFC North.
Yeah.
That's going to be the hardest part, unless Baltimore falls flat on their face or Pittsburgh falls flat on their face. It's going to be extremely hard because basically what you're saying now with 7 games left, you pretty much got to run the table and go 11-6. I do not see a 10-win team coming out of the AFC North and going to the play. You ain't gonna win your division with 10 wins. You damn sure, and you're gonna have as hard of a problem snatching up a wild card with 10 wins. I just don't see that. So
They might
you win.
with a wild card. 10-7 might get you a wild card. Once you win 10 games in the NFL, I think your chances are like about 80% of making the playoffs. So 10, that's what I'm shooting for with my boys. I'm sitting here just praying, give me three more, please. But with the Bengals, though, they were that close to being 5-5. That close
Exactly.
to 5-5. And now they get knocked back to 4-6 and another couple of pigs down the ladder in the NFC North. That was just a devastating loss, man. But we'll see how they rebound. But
Yeah.
I don't know if they do rebound off of that one.
See, the problem is this: you already have 6 losses, and in the AFC, outside of the ones currently leading their division, you've got the Chargers of 3 loss teams. You've got the Steelers and the Ravens, 2 and 3 loss teams. You've got the Texans. I'm sorry, the Texans are winning their division. So you're probably only going to get one team out of the AFC South, which are going to be the Texans. The Ravens and the Steelers right now are battling for 1 and 2. Even if one wins, the other one has a really good chance of going in as a wild card. That's one wild card spot. You only get 3. So you got the Ravens or the Steelers with one of them, probably. The Chargers right now look good, but let's not sleep on Denver because they're making some noise. But let's just say the Chiefs win the AFC West, which they should. The Chargers right now are likely to grab the wild card. That's the second. Then you've got the Bills that look like that they've taken command of the AFC East. The Dolphins more than likely uh, are a little too late, but they've already got a really um, well, I'm sorry, they just won a game, so they're actually looking at they're at 3-6. The only other 6 lost team out there is going to be the Bengals and the Colts. I have no faith in the Colts, so
Zero.
it's really going to come between the Bengals, most likely, the Bengals, the Broncos, and the Dolphins for that last wild card. That's
Yeah,
what
you got one team that's going to come out of the out of the AFC East. That's probably Buffalo. I doubt anybody else makes it out of it.
the only way is if Miami runs the table and goes to 11-7 or 10-7.
They better start playing some really good football. And I was not impressed by what I saw the other night, but who knows? But I doubt it. So I'm gonna just say if the Bills come out of the East, they're that one team. The NFC North is definitely going to have Baltimore and Pittsburgh coming out of there. So that's 3. Moving over to the South, one probably. I doubt Jacksonville or the Colts make up any ground on.
Jacksonville's already lost 8 games. They're done.
Right. So that's 4. Then Kansas City is going to be your 5th team, along with the LA Chargers be your 6th team. Then you got probably the Broncos and probably the Bengals battling out for that last spot.
Right. That's what like. Exactly. That's what it looks like. Like
10-7 though. 10-7 is going to get you in the playoffs in that scenario. 9-8 maybe even get you in this year, just based on the lack of a lot of good teams, because you got one team coming out the East, you got one team coming out the South. So that's going to open up the road for those other teams that we just talked about.
Totally. Robbie said that the Ravens Steelers game should be flexed to Sunday prime time.
I don't know why they didn't flex it to Sunday prime time, to be honest, Robbie.
Because right now it's Bengals Chargers. Now it's only Wednesday. They could still do it. They could still do it. You got Bengals Chargers. I don't think anybody's got an appetite for that. But I do agree with you. Moving that 1 o'clock game to that Sunday night game makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
all the sense in the world. I mean, you got the Texans and the Cowboys on Monday night in Dallas. That should really be.
You talking about please flex out a game? I mean, come on, man.
For
There
real.
is nobody that wants to see that game outside
It's gonna be a bloodbath. Joe Mixon gonna run all
of
over
Texas.
them. Joe Mixon gonna kill Dallas.
Kill him.
He might just say, CJ, you just sit on the bench. We're gonna do Wildcat all night. I'll just take direct snaps and just go all up in that. So
I honestly don't even know what Dallas is doing. I just read today that they picked up Will Greer at quarterback. And I'm like,
I'm sorry, what?
They picked up Will Greer at quarterback. The Panthers, Will Greer. You remember him, right?
Oh, yeah, I know who Will Greer is. Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's, I guess,
the local boy. Yeah.
Local product. Yeah, so that, I guess that's their practice squad QB, or maybe their third string QB. I don't know what they're doing.
He's he'd have to be emergency quarterback because you got Cooper and Trey Lance as your 1-2, and then you bring him in as your emergency quarterback, which the whole team is an emergency. But anyway, Robbie says Cincy and the Chargers to Monday. Yeah. I mean, that would be better than the Texans and Cowboys. I've never really seen them flex a Monday night game.
You ain't.
But I have seen them flex a Sunday night game. They just recently did it. So
Yeah.
Anyway, moving along, we had a nice surprise on Sunday morning. I was actually up and saw the Panthers actually beat the Giants. It was the Giants, so tamper down all you Bryce Young fans talking about he's back.
Stop it. Just stop, man.
Y'all need to go to hell. Y'all need to leave that alone. They're like, oh, you see Bryce Young? You see? Is he a bust now? I said it was the Giants.
Is he a bust now? Yes. You think one game in Germany is going to change that? And when she didn't even throw for 200 yards? Come on, man.
Look, they won 20-17. They did what they had to do. They took advantage of a late fumble by Tracy to be able to get the ball back and Pinheiro be able to kick it. We said poor Chris Formont. There's in hell that I'm supposed to be impressed by the overall number 1 pick a year ago, going 15-25 for 126 damn yards in the whole game. I'm supposed to be impressed.
That's supposed to change your opinion on somebody being a bust. How?
Now look,
How?
What I was more impressed with, Rand, was before the game, a couple days before the game, the Panthers decided to give Chuba Hubbard a extension on his contract. So Chuba done got paid.
Yeah.
And after Chuba got paid, Chuba got on that field, rushed 28 times for 153 yards. Now that's impressive.
Yeah, man. That is the best pickup that they've had bargain in a long time. I mean, Chuba was what, a 5th round pick? And he's producing like one of the top 5 running backs in the league right now. So that was a real bargain.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
They hit a home run with that one.
Man, didn't they? Definitely hit a home run with Chuba. And when you look at it, and I did have it up now, I don't know what's happening to my computer. Had all my stats up and everything else. Here we go. So when you look at rushing right now in the league, Chuba is currently number 3, only behind Saquon and Derrick Henry. So
wow,
Miles,
I thought he was top 5 or close to it.
Oh yeah,
I didn't know he was 3.
He's ahead of Josh Jacobs, Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, Kamara, Connor, Mason, Mixon, Dobbins, Pollard, Kyron Williams, you name it. He's above all those cats. Yep. Chuba is running like a mother right now. He's got 6 touchdowns on the year, 818 yards. So he's doing his thing. So, he earned that contract. It really is going to make Miles Sanders pretty expendable, I would imagine. Um, I don't know if
Oh
they,
yeah, definitely. We
I
got
don't I don't know if they're trying to use him for any trade value or if they're just going to outright end up releasing him, especially because they've got the rookie coming in pretty soon too. Or if they
Yep,
kind of want to
Brooks should be ready to go, and I'm really excited to see what this kid could do because, like, his college highlights were insane, man.
where
So,
they were. Could you see
yeah,
that? Could you see that as a 1-2 punch? That would be great.
potentially that would be devastating. I mean, dominating, with Chuba and then Jonathan Brooks, and I hope that the Panthers are banking on that one coming to fruition because I think, if I'm not mistaken, down to injury in Germany, so he might be done for the year, man, depending on how bad that injury is.
Yeah, that's true too. Anthony says, "You think if Brooks becomes what everybody thinks, you think Chuba Hubbard will last 4 years?"
Um, 4 years, no. You know how running backs could go. I mean, they're not. How could I put it? It all depends on how dominant Brooks could be,
Hmm.
and then where they're at in the contract years of Chuba, as compared to Chuba's age and production in those years, like 3, 4. So
And
it's
the way
kind
they
of
do these, yeah, and the way they do these contracts, Anthony, is normally when you get a 4-year extension, it's really basically a 3-year contract. Um,
yeah,
they, can- they can void out that last year a lot of times. Where there's very little dead money consequence on that last year. Only way that they add dead money to the end is if they restructure his contract and start turning a lot of the salary and the signing bonuses and things like that. Then you push the dead money off to the end of the contract, which for a lot of teams spells disaster. We have to do that over and over and over again. So um, whether he does or doesn't, it's an insurance policy, right? If he does become that guy and you got a serviceable guy like a Cuba behind him or with him, uh, my opinion is you use them both so you can expand the durability of your backs. Teams that have a great two back system, those backs last longer. When you just basically tap a guy out, he runs for 1,700 yards in a season. The next season, he follows it up with sub 1,000 yards because you wore his ass out. But if you distribute that, or even go into two running back sets, where maybe you split one out in motion, and they actually become an extension of your passing game by being a slot, kind of like what they do with Christian McCaffrey now, which is what I advocated them to do when he was in Carolina, because it would extend his career. If you got him just uh, taking handoffs all the time, he's gonna take a lot of unnecessary hits when you get him out in the flat, and he can actually get yards after the catch, try to make the first man miss, and things like that, and just get wrapped up by a corner or a safety versus some big 300-pound tackle firing off on them. Yeah, they're gonna last a little bit longer. So
yeah. I really like what Pittsburgh's doing with Jalen Warren and
that's
Najee.
exactly what I was thinking about as I was saying it.
Hmm.
If they keep running that tandem like that, there's no reason that that backfield can't be solidified for quite some time. Absolutely. That'll be one less thing that they have to really address. Yeah, you have some couple of other running backs you have in the mix that normally, for most part, play a lot of special teams. But in case one of them goes down, you can always take one of the other guys up and everything. But typically, a lot of them play special teams. But they have a two-back system like Warren and Harris. Oh, that's where most teams are probably going to end up going. These teams having um, Derrick Henry and just Derrick Henry, and sometimes you get guys behind them mopping up, or you got Saquon, and sometimes you got guys like Gainwell coming in behind and mopping up. Man, that's going to have to end up being less of the thing. Kansas City right now runs Kareem Hunt a lot, but they also run Carson Steele, and then they're going to get Pacheco back. And I think even with Pacheco coming back, Kareem Hunt is still going to get some touches. I think Carson Steele is still going to get some touches.
That's the best way to go about business, man. Keep them legs fresh and to keep the defensive guessing. Because you get different things with different running backs on the field. especially with the example of Najee and then Jalen Warren. You know Najee is a smash dude up the middle or whatnot, the
Yep.
power guy. But then you got uh, Warren who's able to get on the outside and also catch passes.
Kind of reminded me, you know what? It reminded me the best years the Panthers had running the ball was
Hmm.
when Angelo and Stu,
Yes,
lightning and
exactly.
thunder.
Yeah, both
Stu,
of them over 1,000.
yeah, Stu liked to pound you up the middle, and they always called D'Angelo the scat back because he liked to sit there and break out on them corners on you. And
Yeah.
if you didn't get a good angle on him, he was gone. So Anthony says having two back is good until someone gets traded. Pollard and Zeke. Now David and Gibbs won't last long. Money will come in play. Oh, you talking about in Detroit?
Yeah, yeah,
David Montgomery and Jameer Gibbs.
yeah.
Yeah,
And that could be true, but you know, you always you never know where that other guy's gonna come out of, and you get them free in the draft, like Carolina. You know, they've
yep.
spent all this money on Sanders, and they had Chuba Hubbard thinking that was gonna be their 1-2 punch, and then all of a sudden they had the draft cards fall to them where they could get an explosive guy like Brooks out of Texas, and they end up taking him. So now they'll have one that's expendable, being Sanders up out of here. He's gone after this year, and we could rely on the combo of Chuba and Brooks moving forward. So there's always a guy that you could get in the draft to replace somebody that you lose in free agency.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I mean, I'm still not sold on the fact, honestly, from a draft. Was it last year or the year before with Bijan Robinson going as high as he did to Atlanta? I know he's a great talent and everything, but running backs getting drafted in the top 10, I think is going to become more of a thing of the past. I mean, unless the next Derrick Henry just is sitting on the draft board, then everything I just said I take back. Um, but I was totally shocked that they took him that high. First year didn't go as expected, but he has come back. He's leading. He's fifth in the league in rushing right now. So we'll continue to see how these backs do. Robbie, thank you indeed, Brian. Last duo for Carolina, as I said. But yeah, so Carolina won the game, and I did put on Facebook. I just wanted all my Cowboy fans to understand a true fact: Carolina and the Cowboys have won the same amount of games this year.
Wow. How about that? How about that?
So don't come for me. Because y'all ain't done nothing. And I honestly give Carolina a better chance of winning next week than I do the Cowboys. Oh, yeah, Carolina's on the bye. That's why. But that's the only reason. But it's going to be interesting to see that. When you're talking about the NFC East, though, Ram, when you're looking at it right now, the Eagles did go down to Dallas. They did what they needed to do. I was wanting a more convincing win than the one that they got. Um, Even though they did beat up on the Cowboys 34-6, I really wanted them to put 50.
Beat the hell out of them, man.
I mean, and they almost could have, but they took Jalen Hurts away in the fourth quarter. Brought in Kenny Pickett.
Man, that game was sad. I think the Cowboys quarterback, I'm forgetting his name right now because his name ain't even worth mentioning. What is it? Cooper Rush, is it?
Yeah, Cooper Rush.
Yeah. That dude threw for about 50 yards all game long.
Man, he didn't even go for 50.
50 yards.
45. 13 of 23. Listen, 13, he threw it 23 times.
And got how many yards?
45 yards, which ain't even 4 yards a damn throw.
Man, I'm sitting here, picking on Bryce Young. Good God Almighty!
That was Bryce Youngish without the first round. Yeah, that was totally Bryce Young without the first round draft pick. 13 completions for 45 yards.
Ooh, yeah, that was ugly. That was Bubba Sparks ugly.
Yes. Now, that crazy part is the tight end caught 24 of them yards. I'm sorry, was CeeDee Lamb not playing? Oh, you know what? CeeDee Lamb need these.
Yeah.
Yeah, he tried to catch it in the end zone and the sunlight got in his eyes.
You know that that's another thing that Jerry's taking a lot of heat this year from his
As he
lack
should.
of from the lack of things that he did in free agency to some of these draft moves to some of these decisions to sign people like Will Greer and the Panthers wide
Bingo.
receiver they just Mingo. And so I'm reading he's also taking heat for the stadium design with all that sunshine coming in through the roof up there and then blinding people in the end zone.
He got
So
he got he
people are
got
not happy in Dallas.
he got so offended. He talking about what you mean do tear the whole stadium down?
Yeah, things are not going well in Dallas right now, man. Their fans are angry.
He said everybody know where the sun is. He was so pissed. But you could see the sun was directly on CD when they threw that ball to him. So I'm sure the glare did get him.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, maybe you got to change out your helmet and have a face shield. And when you're on that side of the end zone, maybe your helmet does have some kind of glare protection or something like that. So um, I don't think it was as much of an excuse. I mean, I've seen it happen before on fields where they on certain sides when they're facing the sun, that can affect it. But let's be clear, whether he caught the ball or not and it was a touchdown, that wasn't going to change the outcome of this game.
no, it wasn't gonna help. No.
It would have done what it's done the last couple of games. Maybe the score would have looked a little bit more respectable. And when you looked up at the total, you would have said, "Oh, it wasn't that bad." But no, it was really bad. The Cowboys had no chance of winning at all. It was already 28-6 at the end of the third quarter.
Yep, and I thought about you, bro, as I was watching that game. I was like, I know Brian is just kicked back having a ball right now.
I was because yeah, number one is my Eagles, and then they're beating the cow bitches like that. So yeah, I was having a great time. I was having a great time. Yeah, don't even get me going on that. The Eagles for their part. I mean, AJ Brown really came out to play 5 receptions for 109 yards. He did his thing. Saquon wasn't needed nearly as much, but the Cowboys did do a good job kind of stuffing the middle and making it hard on them. 14 carries for 66 yards. Micah Parsons definitely had an impact on the game. They kept getting home to Jalen Hurts. I think he ended up with 5 sacks or something like that in the game. And I think two of them were by Micah, but a lot of them were Micah influenced, where because he was out there, it was freeing other people up to go after Jalen. Some of those was Jalen was holding the ball too long. And that's a little bit of a concern for me that when he did decide to commit and take off running, he actually got a touchdown score out of it. So I think we need to see a little bit more of that from the Eagles for me to really believe that the Eagles are really ready to take the NFC East away and not let the Commanders come in and take it away from them.
Well, we're gonna find out some things tomorrow night, brother, because they throw down tomorrow.
They do throw down tomorrow. That is a great segue that you will see how this NFC East is going to shake out. Currently, they're kind of in a tie. One team has 3 losses, the other team has 2 losses. They both won 7 games, so one team, which would be the Commanders, have not gone on their bye, which is
Yeah,
where that is. From a percentage point, the Eagles have the best record, but I would call them both tied for first in the NFC East. So this is for first place in the division.
absolutely. First place is up. The Eagles have to defend the home field. I don't have a whole lot of faith in Jaden coming in and being able to get a road victory in that environment. But the kid has been surprising all year long, so we shall
As,
see. He
yeah,
just about got my boy, so I can't really talk.
and
Can't really
and
talk.
I thought that they had basically handled him through the majority of the game, and then he came back with fury.
Yeah.
I mean, he was. I mean, I was kind of. I mean, the Commanders. What was it at halftime? It was 17-14. Washington. They kicked the field goal at the end. But really, it wasn't so much. I mean, Daniels was doing his thing, but it wasn't like he was just wowing it and stuff. It just seemed like he just kept persisting and persisting and persisting.
Assistant.
Oh my God!
He was killing us on third down. He was
Yep,
killing us on third
spinning the
down.
play. He's
Yep.
spinning the play.
There was a time in that game where he converted like 4 consecutive third downs. It was just driving me crazy.
Yep.
He went on a 40, not a 40, but a 94-yard drive at one point too. And I'm just sitting there watching the game, cussing my ass off.
Like, get off the field. Get off the field.
Get off the field. Yeah.
So Rand, would it shock you at the end of this season for the Cowboys to finish dead last?
I'm going to say,
because right now
that would shock me because the Giants are just so bad.
But the Cowboys have only won one game more than the Giants.
I know, it's so sweet.
I'm sitting here looking at their record, and I'm going, well, one of them is 3-6, the other one is 2-8. The Giants hadn't had their bye either, and I'm sitting here going, I mean, damn, I got more faith in the Giants winning another game than I do the Cowboys.
Well, I mean, you're kind of right, B. You're kind of right, because if you look at the quarterback situation, I don't care if the Giants go with Daniel Jones or if they throw him out and go with Drew Lock. Those are two veterans that could get the job done. Over a Cooper Rush, who's absolute trash, and then the other kid who they won't even let touch the field, and Will Greer, who I have absolutely no faith in whatsoever. So yeah, I mean, you're kind of right about that. The Giants the Cowboys have a 1-game lead over the Giants right now, but that could change. That could change.
I mean, if they go to dead last,
but I did see something.
That's so delicious.
I did see something though that the Cowboys may be trying to tank in order to get Sanders into Dallas next year.
They haven't been taken.
Yeah, but
I thought they've been doing this shit on purpose. Okay.
But could you imagine Shador in Dallas, man? And there's rumors out there about Dion coaching.
There's been talk about trying to get Shador to come to Dallas, and then Dion coming to coach the team, and that kind of thing, and that would be interesting in of itself. I think Prime has done well everywhere that he's gone. I think Shador is definitely talented, but you got a couple of problems. You just signed Dak Prescott to the stupidest contract in the world. And if you brought in Shador, basically all you're doing is choosing between Cooper Rush and Trey Lance as who's going to be your third quarterback. They would have to play Dak because Dak is making too much money. Nobody is going to trade for Dak that contract. Dak is a $90 million hit. How the hell
somebody would be idiotic?
How does Shador touch the field when you got a guy hitting your cap for $90 million? I'll wait.
I'll wait too.
I mean, think about Cleveland. They knew they had better quarterbacks, but wouldn't let Mr. Masagi go unless his ass got hurt. So the only way Shador is probably going to have to do what Bryce Young did to Andy Dalton and have somebody hit his car. And the dog, which is just terrible, Bryce Young. But ever since Bryce had Andy's thumb messed up by paying somebody to hit his car, now Bryce done won back his position for right now. So if Shador wants to get on the field, Shador, I'm just saying, I got a couple cousins that ain't that right in the head that might look out for you. Call me. They probably watching right now going, I wonder if cuz old talking about me. If you just ask yourself that, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Oh,
yeah, I don't see it.
before we move off of and go to another game, I do need to say about my Steelers. This time last week, I told you guys that a certain wide receiver would dance in your end zone, and it was the first play of the damn game. That's all I got to say. That's all I got to
Mike,
say.
Mike who? You called it. And it's funny because Robbie said, speaking of trash, he said Mr. Williams is starting to show why he's a bust. LOL. Uh, so yeah, let's take a gander at that game real quick because the Bears, uh, had a game against God. Who did they play? They played the Patriots. I was laughing because there was a guy that was talking to his girl before this game, and I was around him, and was a Patriots fan, and he was talking about the Patriots were going to lose, and I said, "Hey, hey, hey!" I said, "Bro, have faith." I said, "You got a good back in Stevens. Drake May is starting to come on." I said, "I like Drake where Drake May is right now more than Caleb Williams. I'm not sure the Bears are going to win that game." I said, "I think the Patriots have a chance to win that game," and he was like, "You think so?" And then I started seeing this game play out, and I just busted out laughing because I'm thinking, yeah, absolutely. Drake May is playing way better than Caleb Williams. Caleb
Yeah.
Williams, and I know that there's been calls that it's the coaching and stuff like that, and they did get rid of their offensive coordinator, I believe, just a couple of days ago. So,
Oh yeah,
uh,
they said him packing, man. But like I said, scapegoat. The problem is
basically,
Flus. Yeah.
yeah, it's flus. But they always do that first. They'll blame it on the coordinator, um, and that basically buys the head coach another game or two, depending on how stank the next game is.
Yeah.
If it's real stank, then it's going to come right back to Eberflus again, and they're going to say, "Okay, you said it was offensive coordinator. Nothing's gotten better. In fact, it's gotten worse. You got to go."
Yeah, I really don't know what his angle is because he hired like Randy Brown, who's the old quarterback coach for Bryce Young, as the next offensive coordinator in Chicago. How in the hell is that going to help anything? But hey, that's y'all's problem, not mine.
Yeah. Well, and Robbie, you bring up a good point. The 2-7 Pats, now 3-7, 9 sacks and 19-3. Well, that's another thing. As much as people get on New England, their defense has never really been the problem. It's been their offense. New England traditionally typically can carry a good defense. It's normally their offense that will have the problems, and it's the offense that's trying to keep them in games right now. It's the offense. I mean the defense is trying to keep them in games. It's the defense that's trying to give them short fields and things like that, so they're not having to make 80, 90-yard drives down the field and stuff like that. So the defense has kind of been their anchor throughout the whole time. Now they're trying to hope that this young quarterback, he's going to take some lumps along the way. Do I really think the Patriots are going to climb out of the cellar of the AFC East? Not by a long stretch. But are they developing and getting better? Do I see this team as one in the future in the AFC East? Yeah, because their record is tied for the we're going to talk about in a second too, whose season I hope people will finally go ahead and admit is over and will admit that Aaron Rodgers is done. Um, that's going to be a controversial topic. That's the next topic. But they're tied with the Patriots for last. Now, do I think that the Jets might win a game or two more than the Patriots at this point? They should. Am I 100? Would I be surprised if the Jets ended up last at the end of the year? No, not as it stands right now. Not watching that garbage that I saw. The Jets are and this, and somewhere Robert Saleh is like, y'all, y'all wouldn't even get rid of uh 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 what's his name first, the coordinator Hackett. Y'all wouldn't get rid of Hackett first. You went straight for me, and it wasn't even me.
Dude, I can I'll pop myself on the back all the times when I call these divisions right. Um, I was one of the ones that said Pittsburgh would have a winning
You did.
season when everybody else said they was going to come in last place in the North. I
Yep,
also said that the Cincinnati Bengals would take a step back this year. The year ain't over with yet, but they did.
they
Um,
did.
but I could also say when I'm wrong, and I vastly overrated the New York Jets. I thought they were going to win the AFC East. I thought they were going to make a playoff push, and I was completely wrong about all of those things. This team
Rand,
is trash, bro.
Rand, if I told you in the preseason that I predicted after 10 games the Buffalo Bills will be 8-2 and the Jets would be 3-7, you would have told me I was crazy as hell.
I would have argued you up and down. I would have argued you up and
Because
down.
we both agreed that okay, the Bills probably took a step back because they lost Diggs.
Hmm.
Um, they've been knocking on the door for so long. What and we kept saying, is the window shut on the Buffalo Bills? And we both
Yep.
said,
Yep, we
yeah, it's
sure did.
because the
Sure did.
Dolphins are up and coming and the Jets are right there.
I've
Josh,
never been more wrong.
Josh Allen said, hold my beer.
He said, "Oh, no wide receivers. Okay, I will make me some wide receivers," and
Right,
he did that.
right, right. So, as far as a division that we totally effed up, the AFC East is definitely it because you're right. Even and then to your credit though, you did say that the Steelers would not finish last. I totally overrated the Browns because I figured if Deshaun Watson had a full off season to come back, could he be more in his Houston form than what we've seen in the first couple of injury-ridden years in Cleveland? And I thought that would be a difference. Joe Burrow. While Joe Burrow's play early may have cost them a game or two, what's really hurt the Bengals was their defense.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
and then we always knew, well, then the Ravens would do Raven things and be spectacular in the regular season and then to be determined in the off season. So absolutely with that. But bruh, how about the 9-0 Kansas City Chiefs? And I say 9-0, I should say barely 9-0 because it came down to a damn blocked field goal. I basically said, "Oh, Denver got this. This game is over." I came because I remember on the show last week when I called this game, I said I would not be surprised if the Chiefs lose to the Broncos.
yep, and it was because of the Broncos' hard defense and Kansas City not really moving the ball effectively. But think of all the people out there
It's
that
just getting better.
yeah, think of all the people out there that had put put some money on Denver winning this game, and to have that to go down like that,
God,
block 34-yard field goal. Oof.
man, man. I mean, I just saw it as number one. To be 9-0 would be hard, but
Yeah.
number two, Denver's defense and the way, and it would. I figured it would be a defensive game because KC's defense ain't no joke either, and that would keep it a low scoring game. But I figured the way that Denver has been pressuring teams lately, I've been seeing their defense. Their defense is legit. Now they
It
got
is.
some issues at running back and stuff like that, and things like that. But a lot of times, when Bo Nix don't feel comfortable, he just take off and run and make stuff happen. Sometimes he makes the right calls, sometimes he doesn't, but he's learning. And
This is getting better.
I wasn't that impressed with him the first 3 games of the season, but after that, I
He's
started
getting
seeing
better.
this guy play some really big time football.
Hmm.
And yeah, he almost pulled it off. He almost pulled it off. The Chiefs got one, but now every week the Chiefs look so gettable now it's going to be, do you think the Chiefs can pull another one, or is this going to be the one where it's going to be the hiccup? Now, ultimately, it won't matter, because the Chiefs are still going to win their division. They're just that far ahead that they would have to totally just collapse for the Chargers to have a chance. Um, so I just don't see it. Chiefs head to Buffalo Sunday. That's when the talk, Robbie, is, do we have more faith in what Buffalo is doing right now or with the Chiefs? Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I hate betting against Patrick Mahomes. Every time I bet against Patrick Mahomes, he makes me look like a straight goofy. Um, and I feel bad because I want to say the Bills should handle them. But then I also know the Chiefs' history with the Bills. So it's hard. Damn it.
It is. It is.
It's
I'm glad
hard.
it's not a prime. Glad it's not a prime time game.
Right. Oh, thank you. For real. You. So I don't know, man. I'm not doing any kind of sports betting on that game, because if I look at the Chiefs' history, the Chiefs should win. If I look at which team looks like more of a complete team right now, the Bills should win. And the Bills are at home. But that's never mattered in the past to the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs just somehow find a way to win even when they shouldn't. So I don't know. I can't
I
pick
would
that
really
game.
like to know my personal record against Patrick Mahomes. I know it's losing, but I would really like to know what it is. Probably something like 2-11.
Right. Because every time it was the same thing I ran into with Tom Brady. Every time I kept going, nah, ain't no way they can win that game. They end up winning because Brady did something. And I go,
Yeah.
oh my God.
And the Chiefs are the new New England. They really are.
Yes, and even though, like I said, on paper, it looks like the Bills have every advantage to win this game. That, hey, if Denver could almost pull it off, surely Buffalo. I mean, look, all the logic makes perfect sense. So if you are feeling Buffalo, I'm not here to make you feel bad about that decision. I've just known that when you bet against Mahomie, he can make it look bad. With all that said, though, I think I'm going to lean for the Bills. I'm going to do it one more time. I'm bet against Mahomes.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I think
Robbie
Buffalo.
said hard to win in Buffalo. Robbie also 2 comments ago said that the Steelers 2 losses by 6 combined points from being undefeated. I like your chance.
Yeah, I mean, the one that really hurt was that last second fourth down pass that Dallas did.
Yeah.
That one was devastating, bro. But yeah,
On a damn fourth down.
exactly. Yeah.
I mean, hey, but when you look at it at the end of the day, Rand, the Cowboys gonna be watching y'all on TV, and
You got that right.
look, the only way the Cowboys going to Super Bowl this year, Cowboy fans, is if they got press passes or tickets. That's it.
You better buy them tickets.
You better buy them tickets, or go ahead and plan your vacation to Cabo. That's it. You're not going. You're not going. But yeah, so the AFC East totally crazy. The AFC West still looks like Kansas City has it in their pocket. The AFC North, Steelers, Ravens up for grabs. The South, even though the Texans did just lose a game, they're still 6-4. The Colts are in second place at 4-6. The Colts just announced, I believe, that Joe Flacco. It was funny because the headline was benched. Can you really bench your backup?
Right.
I'm like, the thing said benched, and I'm going,
how you gonna bench the guy that you benched for the starter?
I'm like, that just didn't. I said, is it me? This just don't seem like it make any sense. Robbie, it'll come down to time and possession in the Chiefs game. It'll be won by the kickers. That's probably true. It'll probably come down to that because you know that the Steelers are a stingy team when it comes to giving up yards, and so are the Chiefs. So I could see this being a 19-17 game easily. I think if any team goes over 20 points, they're the one that's going to win. But I could easily see this being 16-13, 19-17, shit, 15-12. I can see it. I can see it. Yeah, or it could be a damn shootout. But I'm going for the defense because I think Kansas City defense will travel more so than I trust the offense to travel. Even if I don't know what the weather is going to be like, if that's going to play a factor. I know it's only November, but we shall see. I don't know whose great idea it was to have an outdoor stadium in upstate New York, but hey,
yeah,
good luck with that. So the AFC South again, I think the Texans have that pretty much in hand. When you look over to the NFC, Rand, like I said, we got the East pretty much there, but then you've got the West, and I'm not gonna lie to you, the team that I hate out of the West the most seems to be doing 2018 upset by Buffalo. But you're at home. Is it really an upset?
I don't know if that's an upset, man. And the Bills might be favored in that one. I have to see what the line is.
Yeah, I gotta check the line on that because you're right. I would expect the Bills to be favored. Even not, they can't just go by the record. They gotta look at a couple of things. Look at how they've been playing.
Trends, yeah.
And you gotta look at your trends. And then normally the home team gets 3 points just for being the home team.
So I have not seen the Vegas line, but I would expect Buffalo to be favored that game.
And if you're still watching, I know that you will know what the line is. So just let me know what the line is. I'm giving you homework on the Bills and the Chiefs. I bet you it's 1.5.
Was Anthony the one I said that?
Probably said it's 2. Damn, okay.
Yep, we were close. Yep.
Damn.
Kind of figured it would be favored, man. Yeah.
See, normally it would be 3 because they're home. But I could see them going between that 1.5 and 3 because of the fact that, hey, you got to give Kansas City credit for being 9-0, but you also got to give the Bills credit because they're at home and they're playing some really good football right now.
Right. You just can't look at the records and say, oh, this team is better than the other team, so they're automatically favored.
You cannot go chalk on a game like this. Don't do it. That's pretty cool, Robbie. Thank you for that. I knew it was going to be close, so that's hilarious. The game that I was talking about, though, he said it opened at 2.5 field, so now it's coming down. Okay, a half a point will matter, especially if they win by field goal. They're gonna have to win by field goal. But the Arizona Cardinals, team that I just can't stand, because I don't like Kyler Murray. Ain't never liked Kyler. Put up a ass whipping on the New York Jets. Put an ass whipping on 31-6.
I could not believe it. I didn't watch that game, but I could not believe that score when I saw it because everything in me was like, okay, this is a get right game for the Jets. I'm just going to go ahead and say I just overvalue the Jets, man. I just did, and maybe still just did. I said, this is a get right game for the Jets. They're going to go in there, handle business, get themselves back in position in the AFC East, and none of that happened. They got boat race.
Bro, the Cardinals ran up 406 yards on them. And they only put up 207. Passing 259 to 128. Rushing 147 to 79.
It's almost like the Jets have quit. And I would not like to put that word on somebody, man, but it just seems like they've quit.
To the Cardinals? The Cardinals. I'm sitting here watching the score updates on my phone as I'm watching another game on TV. I kept going, damn, did Rodgers and Devontae get knocked out of that game? Oh, they
saying.
What the hell happened?
What happened?
Kyler was just complete passes all over the place. I'm just like, this is insane. It was
Yeah.
absolutely insane. I have no words. That's why I'm gonna go ahead and say, Rand, do you think Aaron Rodgers is coming back next year, or is he
Man, I
done?
don't think so. I think he's done,
Woody,
man. I think so.
let him come back.
What'd you say?
Do you think Woody Johnson is gonna let him come back?
Exactly. It's like be he leave on his own or they just do a mutual parting of the ways. I just don't see it next year for him coming back. And I think the Jets may draft themselves a quarterback in this upcoming draft as well.
Well, they're gonna have to. They're gonna
Yeah,
have to.
yeah,
They're gonna have to, and they're gonna eat some money, but they're gonna have to. And Robbie said, and how the hell did Murray survive that sack? Well, yeah, he got blew up. That's kind of why I'm kind of like, I still don't like him, but I like what he did as far as the way he played. The better quarterback I thought would have been Aaron Rodgers, but Kyler Murray showed that in a couple of games this year, he's been the better quarterback. And anytime I talk about Bryce Young, anytime I talk about how short Bryce Young is and ineffective he is, the first thing out of people's mouths is, well, what about that guy in Arizona? Because they can't never think of his name. I'm like, you mean the guy that wears mid-cut shirts? Kyler Murray. The mid-rib shirts? Looking like he trying out for the next movie of The Longest Yard.
yes, he does look that way. Yeah,
That dude,
100.
I said, if I needed even more reasons not to like this kid, I saw that. I'm just like, bro, this ain't the time. This ain't the time. Don't do that. You're already little. Oh God.
He
Anyway,
did look like longest yard though. He looked like a longest yard cheerleader for real, bro.
I saw that. I was like, oh my God. That's the first thing I thought when I saw that picture. I was like, please don't. But he really did. I mean, he was just amazing. I'm gonna have to give him his credit. I don't like the guy. I don't like the fact that they had to put in his damn contract that he needed to study film and stuff like that. It really turned me off too. Like, wait a minute. Well, hell, he didn't have to study no film against the Jets because he just whooped their ass. If this is what playing Madden does for a guy, then you better get him the latest PlayStation, I guess. Um, yeah, that was just that was just an ass whooping. So all of that says is right now the Cardinals are actually winning the NFC West right now with the 49ers uh, technically a game behind because the Cardinals have played 10 games and the Niners have played 9. So the Cardinals have not had their bye yet. But you've also got the Rams who just lost to the Dolphins, but they're still at 4-5, and the Seahawks at 4-5. So that NFC West right now, there is no clear favorite.
Yeah, very, very competitive. But at the beginning of the season, back when we were doing our preseason picks, I definitely had the Cardinals coming in last in that division. I think
We both did.
maybe third, but
We
no
both
higher than third.
No, we both had them last. We had the Niners, Rams, Seahawks, and Cardinals, and we had the Seahawks at third because we basically said they were third by default because the Cardinals were going to come in last.
Yeah, so it's like
Got that one wrong for now. Now,
for
I've
now.
seen. Remember, it ain't been that many years removed from the Cliff Kingsbury age where we saw the Cardinals go 8-0 and then they lost the rest of their games. So they can implode at any minute. Now Kingsbury's not there anymore, but we'll see if he's got some of that bad voodoo hanging over Arizona. We will see. But it is still a very competitive league when it's all said and done. Now that the Niners have Christian McCaffrey back, still missing Ayuk, I believe. Got Debo, got Kittle, got a lot of weapons and everything. Do you see the 49ers still eventually the cream rising to the top and them taking over the AFC West?
Yeah, I do think that San Fran will step on the gas down the stretch, and I think Arizona will fall back. I think the Rams will also come in second in that division. We'll see. Right now, as we sit today, the Cardinals are one of the teams that I missed out on as well as another surprise team, the Minnesota Vikings. I had no idea that Sam Darnold, and the Vikings would be sitting here where they're at today, man.
I mean, all they do is win. They've been winning rather pretty lately. Well, no, I'm sorry. They were winning rather pretty early, but lately they've been winning kind of ugly, and that was on full display. Sam Darnold threw 3 interceptions in the game against Jacksonville. Mac Jones threw 2, but he still put up 241 yards. Um, his high catching receiver was not Jefferson in this one. It was actually the tight end, TJ Hawkins. It was a little bit more of a defensive game for them too, even though Sam Darnold kept throwing the ball to the other team. This was his worst games, but all in all, Brand, if I sat there and I said to you, let me just double check the stat. If I sat there and said to you that Sam Darnold, where is he at? I know he's up here. Oh, he slipped a little bit. Let me see. That's 3, 6, 9, 12, 13. So he's the 13th. He's got the 13th most yards right now. But he's above guys like Jared Goff, Kyler Murray, Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts, Bo Nix, Justin Herbert, Jordan Love in passing yards.
Didn't see it coming, man.
That's
not
crazy.
see it coming.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. That's very crazy.
He's thrown 17 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Like I said, 3 of them just came in this one game. So before that, he'd only threw 7 through 9 games. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. I mean, I didn't see that one coming either. And the only reason that I understood Minnesota's defense to be what it was. I understood the offensive weapons that they had, but had no faith that the quarterback was going to be able to take advantage of the weapons.
Exactly.
Sam Darnold has proven a couple of things that sometimes guys that are really hot in college take time to develop. That they can't just come straight out of college, go to one of the worst teams in the league, and be expected to turn it around. So Sam has had to bounce, sit up under people, but kept sticking around long enough to get his chance to become a starter. If there was
props to him, man.
If there was a thing for a comeback player of the year where it didn't have to be a medical thing, like they did with Geno that one year, he would definitely be a candidate for that.
Absolutely. This dude.
It would be a dogfight though, Ram, between him and your favorite quarterback of all time, currently in Florida. who your fans in the water cooler love to remind you about good old Baker.
Love to remind me about Baker, man. And I'm going to give Baker his props too. I've kind of switched on that. He pissed me off so bad in Carolina. I just talked all kinds of junk about him, said he would never do anything. But now I've kind of went to the other side of the fence where I found myself defending Baker against some of the water cooler boys. Because right now, Baker, he doesn't have Evans. He doesn't have Godwin, but he's still putting up the numbers, man. So you got to give him some props.
Well, again, with Baker is in the same situation that I have with Bryce Young. When your height can be your disadvantage, you got to find other advantages to negate your height. And what I always saw with Baker early on was, people talk about his moxie and his grit. Hey, that's great. But if you can't see over the defense, I don't give a damn about your moxie and your grit. You're going to throw a lot of picks. So, and the thing that, bringing it back to the whole Kyler Murray thing too, is that when people would bring up Bryce Young, when I bring up Bryce Young and they bring up Kyler Murray, I said, yeah, but when Kyler feels the pressure, he's gone. Bryce doesn't seem to know that the pressure is ever coming, and he seems surprised that he got a sack.
Yeah, he creates his own pressure.
Yes. Yes. So Baker has been a lot more mobile, and that's paid off for him. But he's also been a lot more accurate getting the ball out of his hands quickly and throwing receivers,
Exactly.
open,
That
not
part.
waiting to get to their spot at the height of their route, and then he waits to throw. Bro, by the time you wait for a receiver to get at the height of his route, it's too long. You waited too long.
Yep.
Don't throw the ball in the ground, or it's gonna get picked up. Baker had to learn it the hard way.
Yep.
I
And
remember when he was in Carolina, he kept constantly getting his balls batted down.
Exactly. And but I mean, he's still getting that ball out of there quickly, like you said. So sometimes it's better to get the ball out and give your wide receiver a chance than it is just constantly take these sacks, man. So
And the other thing, Rand, that
looks like
does
Bryce
is
has gotten a little better with that too. So we'll see.
that yes, and he has to, Rand, because if they know that after 3 seconds and 4 seconds, the quarterback still has the ball, those defensive ends thinking Thanksgiving done came early. They coming back there for their feast because they know that when they come back
Yeah.
there, you're more likely than not to still have the damn ball in your hands.
And you can't outrun them.
Right. Which is all the reason for them to keep coming and keep pressuring so much because they know that you're not getting the ball out fast. Now, once you start getting the ball out fast, then it makes them freeze up a little bit because if they overrun the play, then that's less guys in the backfield to defend the tight end that just caught the ball, the slot receiver that just caught the ball across the middle, and stuff like that, which is why you're seeing Jatavian Sanders, the tight end, start to catch a lot of balls from Bryce Young. That's why he's benefiting from that because these over aggressive defenses think Bryce still got the ball in his hands.
Yeah.
Ain't no secret.
Yep. So we'll see what they do this week. Oh wait a minute. Are they're on bye this week?
They're on the bye. So they shouldn't lose.
So that game against Kansas City when they come back is going to be really interesting. They got 2 weeks to prepare. I know they ain't going to win, but I'm just hoping they don't get blowed out.
The way Kansas City playing, the way that Chuba can, if they can keep a good ground game, good field, they got a chance to keep it close at least for the first 2.5 quarters.
I think so too. I do. I know we sound like some idiots right now, but I really think they have a chance.
They got a
chance. Yeah.
And if they don't shoot themselves in the foot, the thing that I worry about Carolina is their discipline. Stupid ass penalties. Discipline. Stop jumping. Stop illegal formation. Y'all are 10 games into the season. You know you can't cover up the receiver. You know so many guys got to be on the line. There shouldn't be no damn illegal formations.
Exactly.
You know what the snap count is.
They got to clean that mess up, man. They're not good. They're not good enough of a team to overcome that stuff. They're not.
That's right. That's right. You got to play mistake-free football just to have a chance. Some teams can have mistakes. Oh, like Jared Goff that we'll talk about throwing 5 damn interceptions and still winning the game. That doesn't happen. There's not too many teams that can do that. And if they are, I could probably count them on one hand. Robbie said Bryce needs to figure out when the pressure is on him to take off and run and find a hole to go. Robbie, I will say that's every play.
I will
but I take your point.
I will agree with you, Robbie, but I won't say take off and run. I'll say just let that pass go. Fling that thing, man.
Or what I will say is maybe if you don't take off and run, just don't be at the same spot when the defensive ends get there. Climb the pocket.
Exactly, because you can't outrun them. You can't outrun them.
Leg out to extend the play so that if you've got a receiver that sees you in trouble and now you have a better line of sight with him instead of him finishing his route, not realizing you're in trouble back there, can break out of his route, come back to you and give you somewhere to throw instead of out of bounds. How about doing some stuff like that? Use the guy's talents. He ain't but what, 20 years old, 22 years old. he can run. He can do bootlegs. If you know you've got, for instance, like a Micah Parsons on the lining up on the right side, roll to the left. Make sure that you have a lot of if you're doing three split receivers, you got two on one side, one on the other side. Have your two receivers, even if it's a tight end, on the side where your dominant pass rusher is, so that he has some escapability and he has some options in case his hot reads aren't there. Give him something like that. But for God's sakes, don't still be in the same damn spot and making an easy sack.
He can't afford it.
He
And
can't. He can't. Robbie said also Pacheco might be back for that Kansas City game. Yeah, great. That's another one to contend with too. The only thing that helps Carolina is that Kansas City has not found themselves to be a big play team throwing the ball down the field. Carolina is susceptible to big plays down the field. So again, that could help you if your defense steps up respectively and you just keep the chains moving. You take third downs and you convert and stuff like that. The best way to keep Patrick Mahomes from beating you is keep his ass on the sidelines watching.
that's exactly right. If the Panthers could get Brooks involved and they get this double run game going, they chew up a whole lot of clock. If Bryce doesn't try to play hero ball and just take what's in front of him, they have a shot. They do have a shot, and I like their chances. J.C. Horn, on the other hand, on the defensive side, he's really been locking up the other team's best wide receivers. So if he's able to shut down, who's the Chiefs' number one? The guy they just picked up.
Hopkins.
Yeah. So if he's able to shut down Hopkins, I know it's going to be a field day for Kelsey probably, but maybe not. I mean, Kelsey's a little older and he ain't as dominant as he used to be. So I just come back to they got a chance. I just keep on coming back to they got a chance. And I know I sound crazy, and you probably sound crazy too, but I agree with you. I think we have a chance.
I even now think they got a chance against the Cowboys.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
I wouldn't have said that 2 months ago. I was like, oh God, that's gonna be like called CSI. It's gonna be a crime scene out there. It's gonna be a lot of blood. Dan Campbell gonna talk about eating some kneecaps. It's gonna be crazy out there. But I actually give the Panthers a lot more chances to win and have a better record at the end of the season than the Cowboys.
And Dallas, if the Panthers beat y'all, don't even talk junk at the start of next season because I don't
ever want to see y'all again. Ever. like ever.
Exactly. You can't say nothing. You can't say nothing.
Like every time you get ready to talk, you realize you ain't no voice. It's like when you're on them Zoom meetings now at work, and they have to say, "Brand, you're on mute."
Yeah.
My bad, y'all. I want Cowboy fans to be on mute. I want y'all to be just a bunch of people.
Can't say nothing, bro.
Don't say nothing. Even if you say this our year, I wanted to be like, I know. All right, Rand. Well, look, we got some games coming up this week. We got the Eagles and the Commanders taking it off tomorrow. It's going to be in Philadelphia. Who you got for that game?
Got Philly, man. I got Philly. I like Jaden, but I got Philly.
Robbie said if the Panthers beat the Cowboys, Stephen A. Smith will have a damn field day like he has all season. You know what? He been a little bit more tampered.
That's true.
It's sad, but I agree with you. If the Panthers get that ass, I think Stephen A. gonna just say, you know what? I'm gonna clown y'all the whole day. Yes, I agree with you. Or people will then look. Or if the Panthers beat the Cowboy fans gonna try to spin it and say, well, we just tanking anyway. We just trying to get the number one pick. You know, we just let them win. We trying to get them. So I already hear Cowboy fans already saying, well, we just tanking anyway. I watch if the Panthers beat them, one Cowboy fan, you know, is gonna say that. And you're gonna be like, damn, that's the second time I've heard it. So, and then let's see some Sunday games. You got the Raiders in Miami against the Dolphins. I'm taking the Dolphins in that game. Tua is looking a lot better. Tyreek and Jalen Waddle look like they are so glad that he is back. I got you got the doo-doos coming to New Orleans. That the Saints actually showed me something against the Falcons that their season to them is not over. That they have some more football to play, and they're also playing the Browns, so that should again help their confidence. or he said,
Said the Jameis Winston coming back.
Jameson Winston is coming back to New Orleans. So, but I got the Saints in that game. What do you think?
Yeah, I got Saints winning 2 in a row. I mean, what's his name? Carr looked really good last week, and I think he'll have 2 good games in a row.
Same. You got the Colts coming to. Oh God, I don't even know if I got nothing. The Colts are going to New York to play the Jets. Anthony Richardson is now the new starter, who was the old starter, and now is the new starter again. All things are new again. So, and he's playing against Aaron Rodgers, who can't seem to figure out where the end zone is. Yeah.
If the Colts beat y'all, that's all I'll say. That's all I'll say.
If the Colts win that game, you remember the film, The Replacements? I think they need to call Keanu Reeves and Gene Hackman, and they need to bring a whole nother damn team in there. Hell, you can bring the old Replacements back, and they got a better chance against the Colts. For the rest of the season, it's going to be the Replacements. That's crazy. That you even got to pause and wonder if the Jets beat the Colts. But Jonathan Taylor might run all over there. Anthony Richardson might run all over. So I give the Colts a chance. You got to. You got the Vikings.
If they lose that game, man.
Yeah, that's. I mean, the death knell is already in, but that just can't happen. Like you can't walk around New York as a Jets player and you can't go. Like that can't happen. It can't. Anyway, you got the Vikings and the Titans ran. They're NFC. I'm taking the Vikings on that one. How about you on that one?
Absolutely, Vikings. Titans got nothing for them. Nothing.
Rand, there's going to be somebody that's going to say, I own you and I always will, in correlation with somebody that used to tell this team, I own you and I always have. And I think that's going to be Jordan Love talking to the Bears fans on Sunday when the Packers play the Bears. He may be starting a new tradition.
Yeah, man.
And say, I own you. That should be interesting. Well, the Jaguars have to do a really, really bad thing and go to Detroit and not only worry about their car getting stolen, but worry about losing to the Lions.
And that's exactly what they shall do.
That could be a really bad beatdown. That could really go bad. That could be really bad. You got the Rams going all the way across country to play the Patriots in New England. This is a tough one for me. I like what the Patriots are doing, but I think the Patriots have a good defense, and that could spell a really hard time for Matthew Stafford. But between Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp, if Stafford throws the ball to them instead of the Patriots, the Rams have a good chance of running away with this game.
Yeah. I think the Rams outscore them. Not like by a mile, but I think they outscore them.
Same. You got the Seahawks going to San Francisco to face the 49ers. That's always been a great rivalry game. Oh, no. Robbie said Caleb Williams' rap name is Sir Get Sack a Lot. I like it, and I cannot lie. When I stand in the pocket with a ball.
I can't get rid of it in time.
I go boom. And the guy's up on me and he's looking at me.
Bitch, I got sacked.
That's your fault. did not rehearse this. Oh God. So Seattle is San Francisco. I'm gonna give it to San Francisco. Hopefully that now with CMC back and probably is gonna not be on as high of a snap count as he was in this past game, that he'll be more into the wrinkles of the offense, and that's gonna spell disaster for the Seahawks. I also think the defense of the 49ers are gonna be a lot on Geno Smith.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think they're just the Seahawks are getting back their wide receiver. He might be back, might not be back, but I think that chemistry will be something that they will have to rebuild again if he does get back. I'm talking about the big Debo wide receiver they got.
Yep. And you got also the Falcons at the Broncos. I'm gonna call this right now, the Broncos.
You got Broncos, I got Falcons. I got. Where's it gonna be at?
In Denver.
Oh, it's in Denver.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, I might have to go with you. I might have to go with you. Yeah.
I think the way Bo Nix is playing, I'm trusting Bo Nix more than I am Kirk Cousins right now.
That defense in Denver is hell, man. It's
Is
underrated, but they are hell.
and his relationship with Cortland Sutton and the other receivers right now is starting to click. I got a lot of faith in the Broncos right now, and their rookie running back is starting to get more carries than Javonte Williams. So that could really, really be hard for the Falcons to travel to the Mile High City and come away with a win. If anything, it should be a pretty close game.
Yeah.
You've also got the Bengals going to face the Chargers. The Bengals need it, and I think they're going to get it. I think they're going to.
They better get it. They better get it.
They got no choice.
Yep.
Of course, the last 3 games you got the Chiefs and the Bills. I'm going Buffalo, even though I know Patrick Mahomes is going to make me regret that. I don't understand how that is a 4:25 p.m. game. That is just absolutely crazy. That game between the Steelers and the Ravens or the Chiefs and the Bills, there ain't no way in the world those should be 1 and 4 o'clock games. Ain't no way in the world. And then you got the Texans and the Cowboys on Monday Night Football. Texans all the way. C.J. Stroud finds a stride. Tank Dell, Nico Collins, all of them going to be back. And then 0-1 Mr. Joe Mixon is just going to run all up and down through that defense. Even though Michael Parsons did help control the run a little bit, he can't be everywhere all over that field. Just have Joe run to where Micah ain't, and you'll be all right.
Houston and not even close.
And then lastly, because we got to run up out of here, we got the Ravens and the Steelers. I am not a crazy person. I'm not going to ask you who you got.
You already know. We're going to defend home turf. I say we take it by 3.
How many picks is he going to throw, Lamar?
We'll get him for 2.
How many sacks is TJ going to get?
TJ definitely going to get 2.
Okay. Fair. I can see. Now, I heard Highsmith was hurt. Is he going to be ready for the game?
No, he's got an ankle injury. He's out for probably 2 to 3 weeks. It's not that severe. It's not a high ankle sprain, thank God. But we do have Herbert coming back the spot. And, of course, we signed the defensive end Williams, who's also capable.
Yeah. Robbie, what you saying? That I meant.
Do not bet against the Steelers in prime time.
Oh.
Yeah, they're not in prime time, though. But you're right about that. Don't bet against them on Monday night.
And don't bet against them at all. Tomlin just makes us look crazy. Why would you throw Russ in there when the young whippersnapper's been doing okay? And Tomlin the whole time just sitting there just smiling like, y'all keep doubting me.
Yeah, keep on doubting. I say it every week. I'll say it again. National media 5 straight years in a row picking us to be last in the North. All we do is either make the playoffs or we're a week away.
It just won't happen. Well, guys, that's all we got for this week. We do thank y'all for tuning in, whether you're watching us live or on the replay. Please like, share, and subscribe no matter what platform you're on. Let everybody know what it is that you've been watching. And if you enjoy the show, leave us a thumbs up. We do appreciate that. Hope y'all have a great weekend. We'll get started on Thursday Night Football tomorrow all the way into the weekend. So y'all Thank y'all so much. Take care. We will see y'all again next
Fly,
week.
Eagles, fly.
Fly, Eagles, fly.